Okay, Sinatapi. Welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Power Hour on this beautiful, beautiful spring day. Sheesh, we still got snow on the ground, but Oki, Nistu Nidaniko, Makoyo Sakoyi, and I'd just like to share some goodnesses with you this next hour. And I guess I'm coming to you live from Browning, Montana. Browntown. So, Nistu Amskapi Pikani. I'm Blackfeet from Siksikatepi, the Blackfoot Confederacy. So I just wanted to say hello. And gosh, Native Wellness Institute is 23 years old. And we're 3 years doing the Power Hour, I swear. So congratulate Native Wellness Institute, our executive director, Jolene Joseph, all of our staff, Shailene, Shannon, Shanoa, all of our team. We have a large team. With 23 years, we've been just trying to keep the teachings of our ancestors alive. That's our mission. So anything that falls under keeping the teachings of our ancestors alive, we do. Oh my God. So then we welcome you today. And I just like to, if it's okay, I'd just like to start with just a short prayer. And Hayo Stabatapi, Hayo Nina, Hayo Napi Natusi, Hayo Akita Biwa. Nagakimukit nagaspumukit, spumukana siksikai kainaya batsapikani and amskapi pikani. Spumukana are 474 tribes in the lower 48. Hayos Japatapi, Spumukana, all of Treaty 7 area and all across Montana. Spumukana, all the Alaskan natives. I'm coming there in a couple of days. I just ask prayers to give everyone prosperity and abundance. And I ask prayers to raise the life expectancy with Native people across the globe and Indigenous people across the globe. That things happen so that we live prosperously, that we live long, healthy lives. And Creator, we just ask special prayers for the things in our country, for those children that lost their lives in the shooting, for the parents and for the community attached. We ask special prayers for our leadership. We beg of our leadership to make good decisions that will help bring harmony in our country and in our villages and our reserves and on our reservations. We just thank you, Creator. We thank you for the birds singing in the spring. We thank you for the blood blossomings from the spring. We thank you for all the young colts that are the fold of the colts. We thank you for all of the young babies being born, human, two-legged, four-legged, one-legged. We thank you for all of the brightness of Natusi, the sun. We thank you for the green grass that we'll get to wiggle our toes upon. We thank you for our family. We thank you for those who have passed on and we keep on their legacy. We thank you for the air that we breathe, that it's nice and clean. We thank you for the water that we drink that replenishes our body. We thank you for our past loves and the lessons that they have taught us. We thank you for the land that is regenerating itself. We thank you for the hard lessons and the challenges and the lessons we have learned. We thank you for the kindness to each other. We thank you for forgiving the unforgivable, Creator. We thank you for all of the pandemic lessons, and we thank you for the transformation that you've given all of us. We thank you for the transformation to make better choices for ourselves, for our family, our community, and our earth. We thank you for everything that you have brought to us on this given day. Wow, March 29th, 2023. We just really thank you. for everything that you've given us. We just ask prayers for whoever is on this power hour, that it resonates out and it gives you a serenity and a balance and gives you harmony. Creator, we just ask those things. Anya. And not onions, Anya. Is just a short prayer. And I think today's topic is like the renewal of spring. The renewal that comes into our lives, the renewal that we all choose. And, each day we wake up. I mean, like, think about when you wake up. And I know, for the coffee drinkers out there, I just pray that you have really good coffee, that it zips you up. I just pray that, that when you wake up, and that space in between, right when you're sleeping, in that space where you kind of got a little bit of your dream and you're trying to remember, write it down. And you're just starting to open up to your eyes to the world, and your heart is grateful. 1, that you're alive. 2, that you have a brand new day. 3, that it's you can start over. You can start on new ground. You can start with new communication. You can start with new boundaries. You can do another 4th step. I tell do a 4th step. Dude, get a new sponsor. Get someone. Don't be staying in your head. Just do all these renewal things. Throw out all your old underwear and get new underwear. Burn all your bras and get new bras. Burn all your shorts, especially with the ones with skid marks. Get new shorts. Give away all your clothes and start new. Start sewing again. Anyway, these are just kind of, sometimes we have to shed. In renewal, you have to shed stuff. So maybe during this next hour, you could think of some of the things that you shed. And shedding, I look at, animals that are shedding their winter fur. We could shed things, go through your friends list and shed all the toxicity. If they're toxic, shed them. Press that button, delete them, block them. Block the mofos. Get them the hell out of your life. Badass Auntie's advice. And then make new friends. Renew. So the shedding, I was just thinking to myself, as I was praying, I was driving over the mountains. And of course, I'm at my mother's house. I do more stuff at my mother's bedroom because there's good Wi-Fi here. And I'm actually headed to, I asked one of our elders, who I always ask, to paint my face. So I'm getting prepared. I'm getting prepared to shed and to start new. And that's what the painting of the face will do, is it'll take anything bad off. I'll shed everything. I'll renew. I'll paint my spirit. And I have faith in that. I have faith. And I'm so very helpful today. It's like today I was thinking, I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting my ancestors. I'm not doubting our ceremonies. I'm not doubting our language. I'm not doubting our bundles. I'm not doubting in that I have faith. And so I know when I drive on the south side and I go into that home and protocol bring gifts, I've dropped the tobacco. I know that I can ask for prayers and that Ishtabatapi hears me. I have that faith. So I was just thinking, just coming like boundaries. When you're shedding, you have to really consider your spirit. What uplifts your spirit? What makes you happy? What are the things that really give you goodness? And if it doesn't give you goodness, or it isn't, in the long haul, that igakima time, that try hard, like if you're getting your degrees or you're reconciling with some person, place, or thing, or you're putting together your new outfit to come out at the spring powwow. if you're all of these kinds of things, think about that renewal, shedding. I was just sharing with my mom, one of the privileges I've had in the past couple of months is Meninsky. This badger has adopted me, and we've been making treaty. Yeah, it's been about 3 months now. And last night, the badger, when I came home, just the sliding glass window just kind of came and was looking at me in the window like, mm-hmm. This is, I don't know if I could look like a badger, like, mm-hmm. Like, mm-hmm. And then so I go slow, because when you're making treaty with animals, you never move quick. I just went real slow, and I just said, "Okie," which means my spirit's really glad to see your spirit. So sometimes when we're shedding, we gotta open the new door and close the old door, because when one door closes, and I was thinking about that. Yeah, I got fired from a couple of jobs, and I'm really glad it was a blessing. I didn't want to work there no more. Damn. Anyway, when one door closes, and it might be a relationship, it might be, but think about to your old self. If you're closing the door and the transformation to your old self, when one door closes, another one opens. I'm going to repeat that. When one door closes, another door opens. And I think in the blessings of this 3 years in this pandemic, we have learned that we're all transforming. And even we're not the same person. You're not the same person. I am definitely not the same person I was in March 2020. Wow. It's overwhelming to think of the transformation. It's just overwhelming. So really just think about how far you've come, and where you're at now. And you're good right now, because in transformation, midway, we might not know a dang thing. We might even have a little bit of confusion. We might have a little bit of feeling somehow depressed, or feeling like things aren't quite right when you're in progress. But this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And when you're in that midway, so I was thinking, wow, we're just at spring, in different parts of the country, there's a lot of water coming to California. What a blessing. There's a lot of snow coming up in the north. What a blessing. There's some of, even our earth kind of shook some of our areas. It's a blessing, because when you come out of it, or if you lost people, when you come out of it, it's renewal. It's renewal. I just have to sit with that. So what kinds of things? And so let's just share a little bit. And so I'll ask a couple questions, and just, by now it's storytelling. What do we need to shed, for our mind, our body, our spirit, and our soul? Like, in our what kinds of things do we need to shed, that we need to leave in the past? Because and it's humorous. I mean, Creator has some really good humor with us, because Creator, you can't change the past. We cannot change the past unless you're a sci-fi thinker, or ancient aliens, and you can go back. We can't change the past. So we got to assess where we're at right now, and what has happened in the past. What did we learn? And I think that's the spiritual maturity. And the values, the ceremonies, the reasons we have these ceremonies. All Indian country is getting ready for big ceremonies. I was just telling Mom, I said, yeah, I just got, I get all these messages, said, can you come and speak at our graduation? They didn't say where, or they said March 9th. And then I told mom, because like we just like talk. I mean, like, where is the graduation? Is it here on the res, or is it in Kathmandu? But anyway, but I was just thought, wow, what a privilege, what an invitation to speak at a graduation. I hope it's like Head Start. I love Head Start graduations. In 2017, I was the commencement speaker at my alma mater in UC Berkeley. Man, that was the best. It was all of the Indian students from bachelor's degrees to master's degrees to PhDs to JDs, law degrees. And I got to be their commencement speaker because I went to school. I'm a dinosaur. I graduated in 1978, 1981 from UC Berkeley. But that was the most beautiful invitation, and all of the whole room of Native men and women and LGBTQ2 spirit were in the room just getting their degree, had their cap and gown on and had the beaded and feathers and their ribbon. It was just freaking awesome, and so to be honored to be the commencement speaker. So in this shedding, one of the things that I would really encourage you to do is, fill up your calendar with happy things. We've gone to enough funerals. Go to all the graduations. Go to your local community college graduation. Go to your university graduation. Go to your high school graduation. Go to your 8th grade graduation. Go to your Head Start graduation. And just show up and hug everybody. And just hug them so hard. Squeeze them and tell them, you did a good job. You're good enough. You're so smart. You're so brilliant. Oh my God, you graduated. I am so proud of you. Just grab them. That's how you shed. We got to shed some of the stuff that hurts us. We can't stay in the hurt. Hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. So we can't just stay in the hurt. We can go through the feelings, but like renewal, like I was just thinking, I'm leaving for San Francisco in the morning. We got a couple hundred Native women meeting, April Miguel and Aurora Mamea, the Native Sisters Circle, Mary Hummingbird, Lakota Hardin is our MC. We're bringing Maggie Steele. We're bringing Letitia. There's just so many. We're all coming together, and so that I'm just like, I get tears because I'm honored that they have asked me to be one of the speakers. I'm honored that it's Sisterhood. Red Lightning Women's Group will be singing. And we're all getting ready, so I'm going to fly there tomorrow. But I've made my happy list. So when I get flying to San Francisco, I told Aurora, I said, Crystal Wapipa and the gang been wanting me to eat at Wapipa restaurant since before the pandemic. They even gave me these little credit cards where you could eat at Wapipa, and because it's all indigenous food. Oh man, and she's on University Avenue. So I just said, can we just drive there and we could I have this credit card. It'll be free because they gave it to me. And we can go eat at the restaurant. So we're going to go eat at the restaurant. That's going to be a happy thing. And she doesn't know we're coming. She goes, tell me when you're coming. I'm just going to show up. I'm just like, the badass auntie is here. Aurora is here. And we're hungry. No. Anyway, that's a happy thing. And then this is what we heard. Oh my God, is Marlene Watson. I went to school at UC Berkeley with her. She's a professor in Anchorage. She's been teaching architect. She's been working on this diversity building in Berkeley, California since 1995. And it's like a indigenous dream. It's in a circle, and everything's in a circle, and there's pathways, and it's all done. And guess what? Tomorrow night's the grand opening. I haven't got to see Marlene since before the pandemic. Anyway, she sent me an invite and said, if by chance you're in Berkeley, California on March 30th at 7 p.m. Oh my God, so that's on the happy list. So then we'll go eat at Wapi Pa's. We'll go to this grand opening, and it's all indigenous women that designed this building. Anyway, and then we get to sleep. So when you're shedding, okay, so this is how, badass Auntie thinks about it. Shed the stuff that keeps you up at night thinking, when you're turning and you're obsessing or you're worried. Shed that stuff so you have good 8 hours of sleep. That's sleep hygiene. No matter what happens, get the sleep. Because you can see what happens to the people who don't get sleep. I mean, it's wild. So then after that, these are stories I'm just sharing with you. Our good friend Monique, and she does like Reiki and does that kind of, gets on your body with her feet. I mean, sometimes her whole body, she just like twists you and turns you and gets out all the toxins. And so she says to me, she goes, I could do some body work on you before the women's conference. And I go, whoa, yes. So then the next day, and I said, well, I'm going to be staying with my, of course, my beloved. I like to stay with my relatives that are peaceful, clean and sober. And so anyway, I'll be at my niece's place. Can you give them a treatment? She said, sure. Anyway, we got this plan for everybody to get body work and, just get get out all that stuff. I carry my I don't know where you carry yours, but sometimes right now I ain't carrying nobody. They got to solve their own damn problems. I ain't carrying you. People and places and things. Bye. Anyway, but I carry it right here. So she's always like digging, man. She gets in there with her feet. You get that massage. That is self-love. She gets in there. Some of this, even last time when she was working on, she said, your large intestine needs some help. She's got her feet go, wow. And you know what? It hurts so good. She's, wow. She's like pushing it out. Anyway, that's another happy thing to do. So I'm thinking, wow, I get to tune up on my body. And, then I was, then you think when you're shedding, you got to do something symbolic. Like I was just thinking, I haven't got my eyebrows done in a while. Can you see they're kind of like Godzilla-like? And shoot, I don't care. This is just how I look. But wouldn't it be nice to get waxed? And shed some, at least get a design. Because look at this, like Godzilla, all bushy. But you know what? I'm transparent. I'm just showing you who I am. But I thought, wow, go and primp a little. Get your nails done. Get a pedicure. Get a massage. And when you throw out all your old underwear, get something sexy, lacy. No. Anyway, this shedding, getting rid of things so that you can start new. Make that happy list. And when you're making that happy list, I was thinking, the stuff that maybe doesn't feel so good. And, some people might call it a resentment. And I tell over and over, and I'll say it again, we have a 93-year-old in our 12-step program that's always smiling and being happy. And sometimes I kind of feel like that because I choose this attitude. And, we always ask him, how come you're just always smiling and happy? Don't you have any resentments, And he said, no, they all died. They're all dead. I mean, so I don't have no resentments, no. I mean, that humor. So if you carry any kind of not goodness in your heart about a person, about a place, or thing, Are a politician? Eh? A council member? Eh? Are your exes? Eh? If you carry that, do something to let it go. To let it go. And you know, they always say, and I thought, man, that is just such wisdom. When you don't care for something, pray for it for 15 days in a row. Jeez, how many X's is that times 15? 349 prayers, everybody. No, I'm just being, but you know, if someone has like hurt you or laterally oppressed you or terminated you or wrote you up or even talked bad about you on Facebook, whatever, pray for them. Sincerely and genuinely, when you make your smudge in the morning, say a prayer for them, that things go good for them, that they have long, healthy lives. I always, you know, one of the things I heard, I grew up, you know, with all my grandparents and my uncles and my aunts. They would always, they'd say a couple things, but they'll just say, pray that they have a long, healthy life. Pray that they have, you know, prosperity and abundance. And so I tell you, if you do that 15 days in a row for a person, place, or thing, or a situation, it evaporates and you shed it. This is what the shedding is. You shed it and you don't have to carry it anymore. You don't have to think about it anymore. You can just let it go. Ooh. And you feel lighter. You'll feel well rested. You'll feel curious. You'll feel like being spontaneous. You'll feel like even, you know, I was just thinking about, you know, raise your hand if all your whole schedule is in your phone and on your laptop. And it dings. I mean, or it tells you, this is what you got to do at this hour. This is what you got to do at this hour. Man, that's bullshit. You can't. Where does God come in if you got it all planned out? What an OCD control freak. Yay. No. Anyway, leave some room in there for just spontaneous. Shed and be spontaneous. Instead of driving to a short location, walk. Observe your environment. Shake people's hand. Say hello. Say okie. And say, how are you doing? Visit with them. You know, yesterday we had a story to share at our Blackfeet Community College. There's just we have a new president, Brad Hall, and his staff, and they're rebuilding community. And so one of the things that they have is they highlight artists to come and speak, and they provide lunch. And man, they cooked a lunch. They had chicken noodle soup, homemade, and they had salad, all kinds of greens. They had some fruit. It was just beautiful. So everybody, you have lunch and you listen to one of your own people tell their success story. And then you get to ask questions and have a dialogue. I swear it started at noon. Well, I had to get there early to do a Zoom. And they have these little pods at our college that are just fantastic. You go in the pod, it's quiet, no one can hear you. You could do a power hour and be going, la 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 la. Anyway, you could be in these pods, and then at noon, everybody just got their soup and their sandwich and their fruit and their tea, and we sat down and we had Willow Kip, one of our majestic artists, and she's her niche is painting, beading, sewing, designing, and she now is decided to, because she's raised, of course, having a couple children. She just had a baby, but she's still doing her art because it makes her happy. And she talked about her happy things. She had a little PowerPoint with all of her art. And then she talked about having a business plan, having a marketing plan, getting to know the other artists on Instagram. She had it all mapped out. And what she was doing was encouraging other artists to take a risk and to take your creativity and take your beautifulness and make it. And then maybe that, rather than being, what did she say? It's a hobby. But once you start a plan of distribution, and once you have a vision, because she was telling us her vision. God, she has some nice stuff. So she was telling us her happiness, she's one of the things that I love it. She said, yeah, I can just go into my room and sew and design for like 3 hours, lose track of time. And while I'm doing that, I am happy, so I thought, wow, why can't we all be happy in our jobs? Instead of, wake up, oh, shoot, I got to go there again. But damn, I need this paycheck to pay the bills. Anyway, what in the shedding? So in rethinking, what do you need to shed? And what can you do so that you're happy, that you're content, that you choose and still make enough money to pay the bills? I mean, because, I'm not, stupid. They say keep it KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, but how can you make what you have happy if you aren't leaving that where the paycheck pays the bills, So anyway, one of the other thing that we all learned is that once she talked and then all of the other artists, even some artists brought some of their stuff to sell, everybody bought it. Indians buying from Indians. I bought 3 pieces because I have this philosophy. I just like to buy Indian, so I only shop at Indian vendors, Indian stores, and especially after the pandemic. I mean, yeah, I go to Walmart and Costco and that kind of stuff, but I just like my hard-earned money, I like to give it to another Indian for their product or for their help or for what they're doing. And they just somehow, just like even, this dress, the Indian family up in Lethbridge, and they didn't have the cash machine and all that. They needed cash. But anyway, they worked it out. They were selling this because they were trying to get enough food for the family. And so that's who I like to buy from, is so that they have enough food for their family and they have some happiness for their family. So I don't know, that's always Indian buying from Indian. And even if it costs a little bit more, because that to me is, there's a social profit. Jolene Joseph always says Native Wellness Institute is, we're a social profit. Not a non-profit. And I think about that because it's just, once you begin to think, and so when you're shedding, the other, I always think about our ally, Mike Duncan. I think about Al Pooley, Amy, Katari. One of the things that we had this dialogue at our big healing conference, that one thing that we should shed is be careful of the words that we use and what comes out of our mouth. First is thought, we think this, it's like spiritual medicine, and then we say it. And so one of the things you should shed or think about, and this is as badass, Auntie, is, it's a tough one, is cussing. Cussing. Just using that language that hurts. Try to find, I was thinking, we had an 8th grade teacher, again, another story. And he was trying to, so that we wouldn't cuss. We were in the 8th grade. And so he was teaching us, he said, you can insult and you can say things. So we used to call each other, you asinine adult. Instead of those other words, I remember, and Mr. Cushions, you say, no, if you're gonna call someone out, like, Jackie Keeler or something like that, call her an asinine adult, if you're gonna Also, use your words in a way that isn't just like cussing, so that I was thinking one of in Blackfoot, one of the insults that they would just say instead of cussing them out is they would say that, and I'm not sure the word, but what it meant was, hey, you don't wash between your legs very good. What an insult! Ooh, stinky! Scrub around in there. So then shedding words. Okay, words like and it's tough these days. Like when you're attacking someone's character. Don't use the words, attacking them. Use better words to encourage the good character in them. Encouragement words. And so one of the things, and it's just, Native Wildness Institute, the Power Hour, think about the words that you can say that uplift and encourage rather than laterally oppress or hurt. And so, and of course, a lot of times we have an opportunity every day, with the people that we meet. I was just getting back to yesterday, it was supposed to be a 12-to-1 kind of thing. But my mother came, and when you're around an 84-year-old that just loves people and they love her, and some of them hadn't seen her in 4 years or 3 years, we stayed there for 3 hours and just visited with people, and then the next person would come and would hug and visit. And I thought, wow, what if we just had a place? So think about this, where you're living. If you're living on the res or you're living in the urban, if we just had a place where our elders could be, where our elders could be of comfort, and we got access to them. And I mean access just to come in and say, oh, let's have a cup of coffee. Let's have a cup of tea. Let's have some soup. Because, elders like soup. Because, when you get older, you'll say their digestion, our digestion is not to gobble, gobble, gobble. It's just to eat delicately. And I thought, what if because yesterday, gosh, we hugged so many people. But one of our other elders, and I think she's about, I'll have to ask Mom, but they're about the same age, about 84. They hadn't seen each other. And they literally just got this brightness. And it makes me cry because they just hugged. They just were hugging each other so tight and laughing, and then immediately teasing each other. Just hugging, and then they kind of released, and then they hugged again. They were so happy to see each other and to hug. And I'm pretty sure Mom's not on social media, and neither is she, but they just hugged. And then I said, can I take a picture of you guys? Because that's my hobby. I like to get pictures. And I captured it. I captured that love, that unconditional love of just seeing each other. And then they started teasing like, oh, I guess we made it through another winter. Oh, I guess we made it to the green, to see that blade of green grass, And then, but when I was going to take their picture, it was just so cute, because they both kind of went like this with their gray hair. Mom has these little, she cut her hair and she's got these little 10-inch gray braids. They both kind of went, okay, you can take our picture. And then they both kind of went, okay, you can take our picture. And it was just so cute. So anyway, I captured it. So that as you're shedding, make time for your elders. And they might just be 10 years older than you. Anyone 10 years older than you, they've lived longer than you. Listen to their stories. I was just thinking, when you're shedding, listen to the stories of how they made it through. Listen to the stories of what they do to keep their household together. Listen to the stories of what jobs they have and what they did with those jobs and why they were those jobs. Because I was just noticing what, in our country and with the tribes that I've been working with, that some people have decided to change careers. Or they want a job so what, it doesn't pay as much as blah blah blah, but they're happy. They're happier. And I noticed that people are reinventing themselves. Just like with Willow, that was so inspirational because she's given it a go and she has such great art. I thought, man, the stuff that Willow makes, everybody, she's making these new purses with braided leather, because like those of us who like really sturdy stuff that, you can rough up and it's not going to, fall apart, or it's going to last longer than us, right? Give it your giveaway. Anyway, I was thinking, oh my God, I don't know why I just feel very inspired today about renewal and about shedding. And I guess I shed some stuff. And this is just an example, and it's a story. Before the pandemic and during the pandemic, as I lost friends. When they die, I didn't want to delete them. I just somehow the pictures, I had thought about them, and I guess like it's this legacy thing. So I had this massive, and I was laughing because as you get older, your friends die. That's part of the natural transformation. So I thought I'm going to go through, and I'm going to delete the people that have already died. I mean, but I had like a little ceremony for each one. And even though it had ceremony, I just had a ceremony, and I asked their permission if I could bring in someone younger, someone, a new friend, and if that was okay. And I felt like I was having this, conversation with the other side, the big Sandy. I was having this conversation. Like, is it okay if I delete you because I notice you can't respond? There's no Facebook. There's no Instagram. I think there's TikTok, though. Eh? Anyway, TikTok and hell. So, anyway, so I went through, and that was shedding. And it took a while. It felt invigorating to shed some of that and to let them go, but not their legacy. And that was, you let them go, but what did they do to keep their legacy alive? I was thinking, my Uncle Gerald, who was my brother, uncle, and my father figure, we lost in 2014. And so the shedding that I did with my grief for him is like 5 years after he was gone. He used to do the color guard at Denver March. They would bring all the Blackfeets, would drive down there together, and they'd dance in the color guard, and he'd always look forward to it, save up for it. I don't know, about 25 years. So after part of shedding some of my grief, and think some of the grief, we can't hold on to the grief. We've got to, and they don't want us to hold on to the grief. I went there to Denver March in 2019 before the pandemic, and danced just with his medals. I asked Mom she has some of his medals, and I wore his medals, and I danced in all the grand entries like he used to dance. And I swear, I felt like he was dancing with me. His spirit, I couldn't see him, but I felt like, Uncle had this way. He was just a badass Vietnam combat vet. He was just a badass, compassionate person that loved everybody. He was just a badass. He always had a laugh. He always had a joke. But he was a badass because he went in with 29 men into Vietnam, and only 7 of them lived. The rest got killed. And those 7, they stayed friends all their lives. And Uncle was the last one. And so when I was dancing, I could hear him. He used to always say, "You dropped your pocket," and then you look around and you realize he was teasing. Or he'd come and he'd hit your back and say, "Guess who's back?" I mean, I could just see, I could feel it. So that's a shedding. So think about, those that you have lost, how you keep their legacy alive. Just even talking about him, I will be telling stories about him until the day I die, because his legacy is here, even though his physical presence is not. And so we need to shed some of that grief and loss. And in that shedding, I was just thinking, sometimes it takes time. You have to kind of do it more over time with the grief, because the grief is as big as the love, the grief. And so some of that shedding, and I don't know, just maybe just my funny bone today. Even all of your past relationships that you have to just let go or make peace with, have like a forgiveness or make an amends, redo it. As you live longer, making a list and seeing if there's any residual stuff that you need to let go, or just sometimes it's really good to just say, hey, thank you. That was 20 years. Thank you for the time that we did spend together, especially if you had kids. I mean, because the kids, you can't carry that stuff, because if you made a human being together, you have to have some kind of reconciliation with that other parent. So shedding, any resentments or bad feelings, and just uplifting and saying encouraging things, or just saying, pray for them for 15 days in a row. Just so you're shedding that, and you're wishing them goodness, because remember, they transformed. If they were an asshole a long time ago, they transformed, and maybe they're not an asshole anymore. You have to give them the opportunity to have transformed. So shed that, the forgiveness. I always, and I've said this before, Avis Archambault, she said there's little baby steps to forgiveness. It might be way over here, forgiving the unforgivable, but one of the steps, and she said there's even a Beatles song is called Let It Be. She said your step might be let it be. Let it be. And before it's, the ultimate forgiveness. So maybe the shedding is, maybe you got to make a list of let it be. Let them go. It's none of your damn business. It's none of your business. Let them be. Let them live your life. And you take responsibility and live your life. So maybe in our remaining 10 minutes of our Power Hour, Native Wellness Institute, we'll just do some invitation. So if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area tomorrow, please come over to near 56 Julian to the Friendship House. We're in the great Helen Wakazu Hall, and then we'll be using the yard there. We're going to have a large gathering. It's a women's gathering, and it's about empowerment. It's about self-compassion. It's about using your own medicine in the world today. And there's all kinds of good prizes. And like I said, Lakota Hardin, I just love Lakota. She's our MC. And then we just have all of these guests coming from Pomo areas. Ooh, the Pomos are going to be there. And then we have all these other rancherias coming, so in this remaining 10 minutes, I would like you to jot it down in your head, or jot it down. What are you looking forward to in the spring? What are you going to plan? Are you planning to go to women's conferences? Are you planning to come to Native Wellness Institute September gathering at Bainbridge 2023? Are you planning on coming to the Healing the Spirit Worldwide in Vancouver in September? There's also an international AA conference happening. Shoot, I think it's happening in Oklahoma, but it's happening Labor Day weekend. In the summer, start to make your happy list. I was just, wow, there's people are preparing for, the ceremonies, the sun dances. We invite you, come to North American Indian Days in Browning, second week in July. Heartbeat, second week in August. Come visit. You can't stay at my house because everybody always wants to come to my house. You can stay nearby. Because you know what? I can't entertain 5,000 people. Anyway, come, you're invited. Make that happy list. Like right now, I was just, those graduations. What are you going to give that graduate that's meaningful? I was thinking about Anita Lucershire, Executive Director of Sovereign Bodies Institute. She's finishing her PhD. What do you give someone? Man, that is just so powerful. Anyway, I'm going to pray about that. Make that happy list. Or you know what? One of the things in shedding, and that old Indian, like if someone says, I like that, you take it off and you give that to them. Yesterday, that happened. And the day before that happened. And the day before that it happened. And the day before that it happened. Sometimes in the shedding, when you shed, gift giving. Like we have a bunch of new babies, and for some reason, Easter is coming. Yesterday I was at Bab, Montana. Man, just talk about some ruthless, loving people. They don't have no budget, but they were getting an Easter egg hunt together and prizes. And they had 2 tables, and they had to get a 3rd table. And they were saying, yeah, this is for the 0 to 3-year-old, and this is the 4-year-old to the 8-year-olds, and this is a 10-year-old. And then other people were around, and they'll say, well, I can donate this, and they go get it. It was like Indian Christmas. Do those happy things. Gift giving. Go through your closet. Oh, I swear. I mean, I was laughing with my mom, because I spent the week with my mom, and Indian women, they like to go to the secondhand store. I swear. So anyway, mom had she got like a box of stuff she was going to give to the veteran secondhand store, like a box. It was pretty good. It was a good size. But then I was laughing because when we left, we had like a new box of stuff. We both had found some. We're like donating a box, but just as long as there's a little bit more than what you rebuy. I mean, have you guys ever done that? You take 2 bags to the Goodwill, and then you leave with a bag. Anyway, but when we were there, doing these happy things, Native Wellness Institute, we have, you can go to our site, we have things online, and then we have in person. But you should look at Native Dads Network. They're doing the Boys and Braids on Saturday. And we're doing the women's conference, and that's kind of a good way to begin. Let the men heal with the boys and the men, and let the girls heal, and then let the Two-Spirit and LGBTQ heal with the Two-Spirit and LGBTQ. So Native Wellness Institute, you can go to our site. The other is, I was thinking this because one of our mentors is fatherhood, a grandfather figure, is Al Pooley, and his daughter is named Amy Pooley. And they're in the Phoenix area, and they have the Native American Fatherhood and Families Association. And they're getting ready for all of their big conferences. Go to their site, NAFA. White Bison. White Bison is just doing some, they do that Warrior Down training. Man, that's one of the best trainings. And that's a training for you in your area to help when natives get out of jail or prison and they're coming back into society. It's to have all those safety nets. They got a great training. They have daughters of tradition, sons of tradition. There's just so much good stuff. So, and I mentioned those four organizations. You know, White Bison, NAFA, Native Dads Network, and Native Dads. Also, there's the Native Sister Circle. And from what I understand, they might be becoming their own entity because Native Dads Network has always supported them and helped them. But they're good to go. And then we have, of course, you know, Native Wellness Institute, White Bison. I'm just naming these organizations because you know what? You know what's in style? Sobriety's in style. Wellness is is in style. And families want wholeness. Families want forgiveness. Families want kindness. Families want to support each other. And that's why we're allying with each other and not competing. So with that, think as you're shedding, see how you can ally with others, how you can communicate with others and not be competing. And I say that because, you know, there's organizations who they're branding and they're competing and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy when you could ally. Just like I'll end with this. You know, I was this women's conference that's happening on Saturday is like 5-6 organizations allying. And by allying, they realized that if everybody threw in a piece of their budget or they were innovative. And you know me, and like I just said, I don't need no hotel, just let me stay, just give me a ride. Give me a ride there and a ride back. You know, I like Indian Uber. Just give it's like Indian Uber is give the elder a ride there and a ride back, and then you do protocol. That's protocol, because you gotta treat your elders good. You gotta treat us good, not just ask us for money. Anyway, we invite you to the happiness and the renewal. And spring is here. I'm opening, woo, it's blue sky, woo. Things are going to grow. I swear I'm just going to drop to the ground, and that first blade of green grass, I'm just going to get down, and I'm going to give it a smooch, and I'm going to thank it for renewal, and I'm going to thank it for the blossoms of the flowers. I'm going to thank it for all the songs that are sang. I'm going to thank it for all the ceremonies and all the events that we get to go to. Woo! So spring is here, and welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Power Hour. And our hour is just about up. So, you know, Indians, we don't say goodbye. We say we'll see you later. So, kitakito matsuno gitsikako mem.